Emma Reed, a young woman from a forgotten English village, worked endlessly to survive. Her parents were gone, her house falling apart, and her only wish was for one warm meal she didn't have to beg for. One evening, as fog rolled over the fields, a black car stopped beside her. Inside sat an elderly woman with silver eyes and an unsettling smile. You look like someone who deserves a better life, the woman said. Come, work in my house. It's a palace nearby. We need a cook. Emma hesitated. There were no palaces near the village, only legends about a mist-curved state no one could see. But hunger wins over her fear. She said yes. The car drove through miles of white fog. When it finally cleared, Emma gasped. Before her stood glittering palace, gold towers, silent fountains, roses blooming under a violet sky. No bird sang, no breeze moved. The air felt frozen. Inside, Mrs. Holloway, the old lady, showed her around. Every room was grand, but there wasn't a single mirror anywhere. Mirrors are forbidden here, Mrs. Holloway said sharply. Reflections tell truths that shouldn't be seen. The next evening, Emma met Ethan, Mrs. Holloway's son, graceful, charming, with pale grey eyes that looked like storms. He helped her in the kitchen, carried trays, and asked her about her life outside the fog. His warmth felt genuine, but something about him didn't fit. He never ate, never cast a reflection, and his touch left a faint spark of blue light. Despite her fear, Emma began to fall for him. The loneliness in his eyes mirrored her own. One night, as they sat by the glowing roses, Emma asked, Why is your home hidden from the world? Ethan looked away. Because of my mother's sin. He told her the truth. Hundreds of years ago, the Holloway family was blessed with beauty, wealth, and long life. But Mrs. Holloway was obsessed with her appearance and power. When a wandering healer told her that the beauty of the soul is greater than the skin, she mocked him. In anger, the healer cursed her. Your house shall vanish from the eyes of the living. You and your bloodline will remain unseen, feeding only those who seek beauty over truth. One day of you chooses love over hunger, the curse shall break. Since that day, Holloways had lived in the fog, beautiful, eternal, but trapped. Emma was told to cook for two, but the food was enough for 20. Golden meats, glowing vegetables, strange wines that shimmered. At night, she heard growls and whispers from the dining hall. Once she swore she heard more than two voices, many, feasting, laughing, and crying. When she asked Ethan, he only said, The guests are those who lost their way in the fog. My mother feeds on them. Despite the terror, Emma and Ethan grew close. He'd take her to the balcony where the fog touched the scars. They'd talk about freedom, about their feelings, human feelings. One night, he said softly, I live alive only when I'm with you. But if my mother finds out, she smiled sadly. Let her find out. Maybe love is what she's been starving for. They kissed, and the palace trembled. The fog outside grew restless. The curse had begun to stir. A few nights later, Emma followed whispers into a hidden hallway and found a black door covered in carvings. She unlocked it and entered a long forgotten banquet hall. There, she saw dozens of mirrors covered in blood-red cloths. When she uncovered one, her reflection didn't look like her. It was Ethan's fiancée, crying in a wedding dress, whispering, Don't let him burn again. Behind the reflection, shadowy figures, feasted, hollowed-eyed souls trapped forever. Then Mrs. Holloway's voice came from behind. You were never meant to see that. Ethan appeared, standing between them. His body began to glow blue, flames rising. Enough, mother! You fed on lies long enough, Mrs. Holloway screamed. If you defy me, you'll die with me. Ethan turned to Emma, his hands trembling. I'd rather die human than live a cursed life forever. He kissed his forehead, and in that moment the blue fire consumed the palace. The mirrors shattered, releasing the trapped soul that rose like light. The fog screamed as it burned away. Mrs. Holloway's reflection vanished, and when one final look, Ethan whispered, Love me once more and I'll be free. Then everything went white. Emma woke beneath the oak tree, the sun rising for the first time in years. The palace gone, the fog gone. In the hand lay a golden bracelet engraved, You broke the hunger. And at her home she found a chest filled with gold, jewels, and letters gifted from the soul of Ethan Freed. She used the treasure to rebuild her village, feed the poor, and open a small cafe where travelers told stories of the fog that disappeared. Years later, on a foggy night, the only one since that day, Emma saw a tall figure standing by the roses outside her cafe. Ethan, alive. His eyes glowed softly, human again. You freed me, Emma. The curse broke, because you loved me what my mother hated most, a soul, not a face. She touched his cheeks, tears in her eyes. I told you love was what she'd been starving for. They smiled, and the fog dissolved into light. The next morning, villagers found Emma and Ethan's cafe blooming with blue roses. They said the fog never returned, and neither did the hunger. But sometime, on quiet nights, travelers see a golden palace reflection in the river, just for a second, as if love still kept it alive somewhere beyond the mist. It wasn't the magic that broke the curse. It was love, strong enough to forgive even the cursed.